Hello.
Hey there.
On behalf of Monogram, thank you everyone for joining Monogram Luxury Appliances for the Dream House Project. I'm Katherine Given, Senior Style and Market Editor at Luxe Interiors and Design, and I am so excited today to be here with Kate Rumson, founder of the Real Houses of Instagram and luxury real estate advisor, along with Dan D'Agostino of Plan Architecture. Welcome to you both.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
So, as many of the viewers here know, Kate is in the process of building her very own dream home, a project she is working on along with Dan. So, we'll be spending the next half hour discussing where it all began, how the process has gone, and what is still to come at the Dream House project. Quickly, just for all those tuning in, please leave your questions in the Q&A window below the video. You may need to scroll down a little bit, but we'll be answering your questions at the end of the program. So, guys, let's dive in. Kate, do you mind just, starting to tell us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Sure. So I am a designer, a builder, a real estate investor, and a luxury real estate advisor. I run the Real Houses of Instagram. We are a media company that specializes in design, home building, and real estate. And also I'm the founder of Private Client Real Estate Network with Sotheby's International Realty, where we focus on sales and marketing of luxury real estate in the suburbs of New York City. I'm sorry, that must be FedEx.
We know how that goes. Gosh, Kate, you're a busy lady. And Dan, thanks so much for being here. Can you talk a little bit about your background and Plan Architecture?
Sure. So I founded Plan Architecture, Plan Interiors. We are a high-end single-family custom design firm. We do it all. So we start from ground up. We'll do additions and renovations, and having the blanket company that does architecture and interiors, it's all integrated. So it's a fun process for our clients.
Nice. I'm sure you're booming now. I know a lot of people are obviously focused on the home and design, so it's a good place to be. But Kate, I know you recently renovated your townhouse, so I'm curious, what made you now want to begin building a brand new home? Because I know that's a pretty big undertaking.
It is. It was actually always my plan to build a home around this time. My townhouse, I bought my townhouse 5 years ago while I was living in a different home. And I wasn't really sure what I was buying it for at the time. It was offered for sale at a well below market value. So I knew it would make for a great investment, but I wasn't sure if it was something that I wanted to rent, if it was something that I was going to renovate, live in it. So I ended up buying it, remodeling it, and I've been living in this townhouse for the past I want to say 3 or 4 years, and I loved it. It's been wonderful. My first experience living in a townhouse. I've always lived in single family homes, so I really enjoyed it. But it's not ideal for my lifestyle. I love to entertain. I need to have a dining room. I work from home, so I need to have a home office. I would love to have a backyard. So that is when I called Dan and we started working on my dream home.
I have to say I'm very envious, being in a little NYC apartment most of the time. Your Instagram is total eye candy for me. So I know you do have a huge presence on social media. I follow along with you. And you've really taken your viewers on a journey, right, throughout this entire process, as you said. And you're asking for their input along the way, which is pretty unusual. But what did you find most surprising? What suggestion did you find very interesting?
It would have to be the garage at the new house, because it was interesting when Dan and I started working on this home. Of course, I came with a long list of requirements and things that I wanted to see in my dream home. And when it came to the garage decision, I said 2 to 3 cars, not very very specific. And then we ended up designing a beautiful home with a 2-car garage. And when I shared it with my community, there was a lot of feedback considering the square footage of the house, which is 4,400 square feet. Many people were telling me that we needed a 3-car garage for a house that size. And the design of the house at the time was different, and it wasn't something we couldn't just add another stall. So I ended up calling Dan, just reading all of the comments, and I'm like, just look at those comments. I'm like, it's not just one or two. It started with, a few, and then it turned into dozens, hundreds, and thousands of comments telling me that I'm making a mistake. A house of this size needs a garage. So we had to redesign the entire house to make sure it has a three-car garage because of that feedback. But right now, couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier with it. And it's definitely it's a learning experience. And for somebody planning a house, that is more than 4,000 square feet, I would definitely recommend to go with a three-car garage now because I understand how important it is to others. So, even though we're not planning on selling it anytime soon, but I feel like these things are always important for resale value. So I'm very happy I ended up with a three-car garage.
Wow, what a sounding board. That's pretty amazing advice. And Dan, I'm curious to get your take really because I'm interested, what is it like working with a client like Kate, right, who has such a large community, sort of giving their input on every decision along the way? It must be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So, Monday mornings are challenging days for designers because that's when people typically show their aunt or their cousin or their mother. You get these, you get like 3 or 4 emails like, we're rethinking this or that. And, one or two opinions are great. But when we're working with Kate, and it's not an act, and a lot of people ask me that. They're like, does she really ask these questions and does it influence? Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were done and we redesigned the entire home over this garage thing. It's funny. It got to the point where Kate and I would like we'd know that something was going to be released, and we just wouldn't book anything for that night because you just sort of sit there and you wonder like, I was committed to the relationship because I want to see people like it, right? But the other side of it is like, all right, how much are we going to redraw? How much are we going to redo as a result of whatever we're getting? So it was different, but it was a fun experience because that's the beauty of what we got to do and what a person that builds a custom home does. You get to choose what's important to you and what isn't important to you.
Certainly.
Things that, like Kate said, she was impartial. Those really guided the process. So that was interesting to watch.
Yeah, you got to roll with the punches, right? But I'm
Totally.
curious to know, Kate and Dan, what is your favorite part of the home, right?
For me, it's two. I absolutely love my new exterior because I just feel it is so different. Certainly very different from everything we see in New Jersey, but it's different from everything I see, in magazines or on Instagram. I feel like, the whole modern farmhouse trend is very popular now. But we are building, a modern European. So it was inspired by, European country homes, but we wanted to, add a interesting modern twist to it, and with all the black and interesting details that we added. And I love it. And I was so nervous about it because I feel like whenever you introduce, bold colors like, black and white and it's just so, it's very I don't know. I was very nervous because I loved the rendering. I loved our idea, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to look like that. And right now, like Dan just saw the house in person recently, and he said it looks just like the rendering, and it truly does. So I'm very, very happy with the exterior and also the kitchen. I love my kitchen. When we started working with Dan on the floor plan and the layout of the house, it started with the kitchen. I had that vision. I wanted, that range hood in the middle. I wanted perfect symmetry. And we started, designing the rest of the floor plan from the kitchen. And now, working with Christopher Peacock on the design of the kitchen and now seeing his gorgeous cabinetry in the space, it's just, yeah, it definitely the exterior and the kitchen.
Dan, what about you?
So I have to agree with Kate on the exterior. So it was fun because we treated it like a mini history class before we started because we really wanted to knock that French, uh, that European modern style. And then for me, it's the flow, right? So having the ability to walk in the foyer, past the stair, you just drawn into the house, which you can get in some of the video tours that Kate does. And then when you get to the back, like the main living area, which is bookended by the kitchen and a living room wall. It's just like a great space that you're drawn to and you want to hang out in. The taller ceilings, the ceiling grid, it all just flows really well. That's my favorite.
So I want to pivot for a moment and Kate return to the kitchen because I know that, you are about 75% of the way done, right? And now you're selecting countertops and appliances and hardware, sort of all that fun stuff. But what was your number one ask for the kitchen space when you started working on the design?
So when I started working with Dan, two things were very important, and one was more important than the other. The first most important thing was I wanted to have a walk-in pantry or like a second mini kitchen somewhere right, off the kitchen, because I love having clean counter space. I just love clean counters, no toaster oven, nothing like that. I just wanted a completely, beautiful, clean kitchen. And it was particularly important in my situation because the kitchen is open to the entire house. So I wanted to have that space, which we ended up designing a pantry on the left side of the kitchen where I'm going to keep my toaster, my electric kettle, all of those, small little everyday appliances that we keep on our countertops. So that was very, very important. And another thing that I really wanted to have in the kitchen is a built-in breakfast bench under a window. And that kind of drove the whole design and where the kitchen was located and how it was going to be positioned, in relation to the family room and everything else. But those two, I think, a walk-in pantry with counter space and a built-in bench near a window for breakfast, the breakfast area.
Oh, it sounds lovely. And it's interesting you say that because I do feel like I'm seeing so many more kitchens and designers that are saying that their clients want these sort of pantry or larder spaces. Not only during this time are we like completely cooking at home, but people are really buying more, right? And just they need the storage. So that's an interesting point. But Dan, I do want to talk about the dining areas that Kate mentioned. Can you just talk a little bit about how that eat-in area sort of differs from the island seating and, when do you use one over the other? Why is it important to sort of have both? I'd love you to sort of touch on that.
Sure. So when we're designing a kitchen, we are conscious of workspace, informal space, and then formal space, right? Even though Kate does have a dining room, people are moving away from the dining. They're not really using them. They use it on 2 days of the year. Those 2 days of the year, it's too small. So the eat-in area is where you're hanging out with the family. You're having breakfast. You're sitting down with your phone or a magazine. You're enjoying time there. At the island, that's a quick eat. That's where you might see the kids doing homework. So to be able to create these zones within the kitchen and have them feel distinct by playing with the ceiling or creating different window niches. In fact, in Kate's kitchen, one of the best things that we did was we bumped that eat-in component out by 2 feet and we put a bench in between 3 windows. So it's a true nook that a table will be pulled up to. Those spaces are the most challenging to design because how do you not make it feel like it's just a cafeteria with a piece of furniture in the middle of it? And Kate's was successful, in my opinion.
Yeah, it takes
And
a
I feel
real.
like they're very different. All of our 3 spaces are very, very different. And I wanted it that way because I wanted my kitchen eat-in area to feel different from the formal dining room. I wanted it to provide a very different experience, and the same also with the island. Because I love to entertain. I have to, I have to have a dining room. So, that's for larger events. That's, just very, very different for some casual. But if you don't want to, be at the island, there is this really unique experience near a window where you can actually have a bench and you can relax or read a book, or just like Dan said, for a quick, bite. Island is always the best option.
Yeah, it's certainly ideal to have several different eating spaces. So, and we're here again with Monogram today chatting. So I need to know, Kate, what appliances were on your must-have list?
So there were a few. I definitely wanted to have a large refrigerator, freezer, columns area section. So we went with a 24-inch freezer and a 24-inch refrigerator. I love my frozen croissants, frozen vegetables, frozen soup. So I feel like it's important to have a larger freezer. So I definitely that was important. I wanted to have a 48-inch range, and I wanted to have like a statement piece, something that would be right in the middle of the kitchen that would draw your attention, something that would add to the overall design. And I love the new Monogram, the new range design. It's just so beautiful and it fits so well with the kitchen. I had to have quiet dishwashers because again, the kitchen is open to the rest of the home. So quiet operation was very, very important. But most importantly, I wanted to, and this was something that we added later, their 5-in-1 oven. And I wasn't planning on incorporating it because I felt like I already have 2 ovens in my range. It's not something that's very important, but I kept hearing from, just people in the industry, from designers, from builders, and also from my community, how like if you're going to have one appliance, you have to have this 5-in-1 oven. And at the time when I started hearing, getting that feedback, we already designed the entire kitchen. Everything was already framed. House was framed. And there was just really no place for us to include it. So I ended up calling Dan saying, we need to make this happen. So we had to move a wall. We had to break a wall, move a wall in the pantry to include that 5-in-1 oven. But I'm so happy we were able to do that because again, once everything is framed, it's very, very challenging to do things like that. But I felt like it's, it has so many different appliances in one and it's beautiful. And I'm very happy that we were able to make it happen. But yes, now we have to move a wall.
Dan, I'm sure you love getting those calls, right? We need to move a wall, but
it was usually like, can we do this? Well, when do you need to know by?
Right.
3 minutes from now. Yeah, no, that's real. We actually moved the wall, and Kate will probably show you that eventually.
I'll show you like the bump out and how it affected the other side, which it really, it didn't. It's only 6 inches, but oh my goodness, I'm glad that we made it happen. We made it work.
Must have.
Go ahead.
And Dan, I'm curious, I'm sure you work with a lot of clients, you see a lot of different kitchen configurations, but is there sort of something that most people are asking for or need in their kitchen?
So, the oversized decorative hood is one thing that most people need. I'm learning that people want open floor plans, and part of that is they want all their appliances either in a pantry or concealed and in an area that's off to the side. So having the ability to create something that's versatile, it's functional, but also tucked away is what's most important to me.
That's great advice. So let's take a quick look at how the kitchen is all coming together with this quick video.
My name is Kate Rumson and welcome to my new kitchen. As you can see, we are still under construction, and I love this stage of the process because this is when we start seeing all of the shapes and sizes and get a feel for the overall scale of the space. All of the cabinetry you see here is Christopher Peacock, and I had the privilege of working with Christopher himself on the design of this kitchen, which makes this project incredibly special. It's not every day that you get to work with one of the best kitchen designers in the entire world. Christopher Peacock cabinetry is painted after installation, so these are not our final colors. What you're seeing here is primed, not painted. I'm still not sure about the final colors, but I am considering a black and white color scheme. For our floors, I chose pre-finished engineered wood by Du Chateau in color Lugano, and for the sinks, I went with a fire clay apron sink for the island and a stainless steel undermount sink for the pantry. I will be going with Monogram appliances. It's what I currently have in my townhouse, and I couldn't be happier with my appliances, so that is what I chose again for the new kitchen. Here we're going to have our refrigeration columns. I went with a 24-inch freezer and a 24-inch refrigerator. I love Trader Joe's frozen section, so I wanted to make sure we'll have a large freezer. I highly recommend their lasagna. Here we're going to have a gorgeous 48-inch Monogram range. The new design is so modern, and I know it will look beautiful with the rest of the finishes in this kitchen. This kitchen will have 2 dishwashers, one in the island and the other one in the pantry. I will be going with the exact same Monogram dishwashers as the one that I currently have in my townhouse because it cleans so well, and most importantly, I do not hear it. And I feel like quiet operation is very important in this setup because this kitchen is open to the entire house. And last but not least, this is what I'm most excited about in this kitchen. This is where we're going to have our 5-in-1 oven. Monogram's 5-in-1 oven can be used as a convection oven, toaster oven, warming oven, precision oven, and microwave. And it is gorgeous. How amazing is that? For countertops, I'm going with Caesar stone. Their designs look and feel organic and earthy, and that is exactly what I'm looking for in this kitchen. For the faucets, I will be going with my favorite Lindsay collection by Brizo. I'm just still not sure if I'll go with Lux Gold or Polished Nickel. And that is the plan for this kitchen. I will be sharing a lot more in the coming weeks, so make sure to follow along.
Oh my gosh, that is so stunning. I loved, getting to walk through that space. I cannot wait to see the final outcome.
Thank you. Thank you. We're very excited.
So guys, I want to move into the Q&A part of our talk, and we have a lot of questions for you. All the viewer questions are sort of coming in, but it is KBIS, and as much as I wish we were all there in person seeing what's new, we're sadly not. But a viewer wants to know, Kate, what are you looking forward to seeing at the show?
So I am a few different things, but I am most excited about because we are ready. My kitchen is completely ready for templating and for countertops. I was ready last week, but I wanted to wait since I was so close to KBIS. I wanted to wait and see all of the new designs and technologies that are going to be coming out. And I know that the one style that I'm looking for that I think I love is by Caesar Stone. So, and they're coming out with a few new designs. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing their new collection. They will be sending me their samples tomorrow, so I'll get to see the new collection and all of the samples in my home next to my cabinetry. So, and I'm just so glad that it worked out. So that now, I'm so close to finally templating. KBIS is right here. So I think that I'm most excited, and we'll be looking at all things countertops, and also I'm excited for all of the panels. I know that Monogram has Jean Stouffer later, which I'm very, very looking forward to. But yeah, KBIS is always fun.
Yeah, the timing totally aligns for you this year. It's kind of serendipitous.
Yes.
But
yes.
I agree with you. Like, as a market editor, I cover kitchen and bath year after year, but the technology, gosh, it's hard to keep up, right? So for me, I agree. It's just seeing what's new and the latest and the greatest. But we have another question here. As we mentioned, a lot of people are tackling their own home projects right now. Dan, what tip would you give those starting a home renovation?
So I would say make as many decisions as possible, as early as possible. I would tell you figure out your plumbing fixtures and your appliances first, because many times the aesthetic of those will dictate the aesthetic of other things that you're doing. It also happens to be that one of the first things you do when building a house is plumbing. Like they physically have the plumbers after framing, they have the plumbers on the house. You need that stuff selected. So try to get a schedule, get a budget for yourself, try to stick to it.
Good advice. Good advice. We also have here, has COVID changed your plans? Did you guys have any big delays?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, definitely. With product delays, with labor, delays, it was just, because we weren't allowed, construction was shut down in New Jersey for a while. And then all of a sudden it got super busy and everybody was busy and I up in a million projects. So definitely we've experienced some major delays because of product availability and labor.
So we have a few more sort of specific questions. For Kate, a viewer wants to know, will the kitchen have pendants over the island? And what is your preference for a sink location? Is it island or is it under a window?
So pendants over the island. This is a big one. We are pre-wired for them. But the rendering that I shared in the video does not show pendants because I'm still not 100% sure. We have those beautiful sconces on the main range wall, and I'm just not sure if they're going to be enough, if we need to introduce something else. I'm also not sure if we're going to be introducing a chandelier over the table in that breakfast nook area. So we are pre-wired for all of those things, but it's either, it's going to be decorative lighting, pendants and chandeliers, or recessed lights. So, because again, I never want to do too much. Like I don't want lights and pendants hanging everywhere. So I want everything to work with what I already have there, which are those two beautiful sconces that I still haven't chosen. I've looked at a million sconces, but I just can't find that perfect style that would work there. So once I figure out the exact sconces that are going there, we're going to figure this out with everybody involved, because this is a big decision. Lighting is a big decision. So we will see. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, those finishing touches, I agree, are very important. So we have a lot of your community on here today, and this is not related to home, but viewer asks, this might be an odd question, but Kate, you have such a nice voice. I enjoy listening to you. Am I detecting an accent?
Oh my God, that's so funny. It's just funny when people say that, because I cannot, like, that is the most difficult thing about doing video and lives. Like, I am one of those people. Like, I do not enjoy the sound of my voice. So it's I'm Czech Russian. So yes, there is a little bit of an accent there.
So Dan, we have a question here. When you are building your own home or building a home, obviously timing can be on your side. Do you have a schedule that you provide your clients at the start of a project? This viewer has worked with companies that have and haven't, and they're just curious to know what your take is.
Yeah, I mean, usually when we first start a project, we explain, depending on the size and what we think the undertaking is, how long it'll be from where we are that day to the end of the project. That's always a tough thing to answer. And, if you asked me that question at the beginning of last year, I would have been very wrong because of COVID. I would have preferred to answer whether or not it was an accent, to be totally honest.
I can't hear it, so it's interesting.
Schedule is a tough one, but we do our best. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Kate, so the last question for you is, what's next in your home, and what can your community expect to see next?
There's still so much to do. I think that right now it's all about the kitchen and finishing the kitchen. I started working on one of the bathrooms on the first floor. I would love to finish in the next few months. I want to finish the foyer and the entire main floor, and I'm taking it easy. We're very, very busy. There are so many different things that are happening, and this house is located 30 minutes away from my townhouse, which is challenging. Just getting there all the time. And I am somebody who wants to make every single decision. I love this home. I want to be in charge of every single decision, and yet, the time, limits are what's creating, a little bit of a challenge. But I think that it's definitely the kitchen, the foyer, all of the beautiful trim and moldings, a floor, and I'm going to probably be designing all of the bathrooms one by one. Again, it's just like I enjoy the process. I always say it's kind of like restoring a classic car for some people. I'm building this house and I'm really taking it in, and I'm enjoying every step of the way.
Well, I certainly can't wait to see, the final home and kitchen reveal and clearly how it all comes together. I'll be tuning in, don't worry. But thank you both so much for your time today. It was really so nice getting to chat with you both. For our viewers, please stay tuned for what's next. From insightful videos to engaging live events, we've planned a calendar of discussions designed to inspire dialogue, elevate creativity. Join Monogram again this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Jean Stouffer as they discuss unique locations for appliances and how convenience is the ultimate luxury. They also have a full team eager to engage with you online. So take the time, stay on monogramvip.com to explore their new content releases and design stories from around the country. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Bye-bye.